Hey guys, this is Pharaoh 2091, and welcome back to Let's Play Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. That's when we left off. We were kind of implicating Mr. Portsman as the real killer, because we pretty much know it is him, but he is still denying it, even after all that evidence, and he gave us his alibi for it. And the thing is, after looking at it, it's going to be kind of hard to actually find anything here. So, you know those times like in any of the Ace Attorney games you had nothing to do but press every statement? Well, it's kind of like this right now. You kind of have to press every statement until it's done.
Hold it!
Oh my god, my dog's really pissing me off. You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on at the time. I remember checking my watch then and make no mistake, it was 2 o'clock. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. And then,
Hold it!
It was as you say. However, yes, you were the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me or who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see it.
Objection!
Oh, come now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. And he was on criminal affairs. Alright. So you paid the criminal affairs department a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building. I headed straight for the precinct. And, well, we did ask around, and apparently it's true. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it's just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said they saw you at around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi! There's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh! Impossible! He actually does have the perfect alibi! What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir! Please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe! Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? Maybe. I need to calmly think this through one more time and use logic! Okay, so now we're kind of forced to do this. Okay. Well, we have his alibi. But let's see. We did figure out there is another handgun here that was being used. Maybe I can play around somewhere around here. Just maybe. You can actually connect it. There you go. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life. And one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Holy crap. Okay, didn't see that one coming. So that means well, the only things we can put together are these 2. That's easy enough. So it seems like, yeah, entirely different person for the theft. And the other person could be simply for the killing. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that shelves were disturbed once before, once after a murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by a person who stole the victim's gun, and then killed with it. And once again, after a murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointing at my back...
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great! So you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was a killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean 2? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. The sportsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office.
Objection!
Now you're just leading arguments. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you have nothing to worry about. Ugh. Now then, return to my scenario. Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, that would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. As a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. And Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then... he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. Oh, he's really nervous now. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left a fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor in my room, and this is where it gets a little complicated. There was another? Visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so it stole the master key from the security guard's room. And then they entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen zero file, right, sir? Correct. Only, just as the thief was about to leave the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet that was fired during that brief encounter. So the shell's getting messed up twice in 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I left was just a thief, and not in fact Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
Objection!
What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth, after all. But, you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which was withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition... Oh my god, I can't say a word. Supposing that I was the first visitor. Miss Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir! But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. Do you know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Okay, let's hear his second portion of his alibi. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They still might be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came by to deliver some evidence to me, I was down in criminal affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left? So you think you should be out, we should be out looking for this thief? Of course! Now isn't the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? Oh, he's still scared. I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way out to prove it. So one thing I need more information on, and it says like the whole scenario of Jim visiting him to give him evidence. And he says here, Jim came by to deliver some evidence. Let's find out a little bit more about that. Why didn't you go there with Jim and Mr. Faith? That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? There were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items. What? Oh, a gun and a pendant. Look like Guru to me. And I'm like, what the hell did that say? Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. So now it says he brought me 2 items, a gun and a pendant that relate to yesterday's case. Uh-oh! It seems like he finally fell into his own trap. Or fell into a trap, because if we look at the note, it says that I brought the 3 pieces of evidence. So it's like, 3? What the hell's that mean? You're obviously lying now. Objection! Only 2 pieces? I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. It says Mr. Faithful is bringing him 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dive message to you, Mr. Portsman. Hey, I can't believe it! To get tripped by a simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty will make such a face. Detective Gumshoe! You don't have to say it, sir! I'll pat the guy down from head to toe! What? Don't come any closer! I'm warning you! This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me! No! Hey! What's this? He had this on him, sir! Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why did he hide something like that? There's only one reason anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would, well, what that big word right there points to that person himself as the real killer. Oh. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. There's a section of tape that will drive this last nail into his coffin. So, let's take a look at it. Nothing here. Oh, look at that! There's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No! You've got it all wrong! No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from that victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. What? Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his person when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that! Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints? God! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith! No! Impossible! I'm... Hey! Oh my... Yeah, well, he's eating gold! And he straight up ate it and swallowed it. And he's done! It seems that we solved the case. And now for a little epilogue in this thing. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs and the tape turned out to be the real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were able to lift a few prints of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Aw, it was nothing. Really, compared to what I've been through, I mean, I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. Why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of his evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. He never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near the topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's rumor that some sort of huge organizations revolve behind the scenes. Oh? Well. If Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly leaves credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? That Mr. Portsman isn't a bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence, and that would be the whole purpose of the stolen files here.
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who that was. And what happens to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at that gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card! What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It's the mark of the raven. A three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, Detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief that everyone's talking about. Yes. It was the mark of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Wait, Yatagarasu? Yatagarasu, I think that's how you say it. I could be annihilating that pronunciation like I always do, but that's how I'm going with. Under the mark of a legendary bird, a Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once the target is chosen, no dramatic calling card announcement is set forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with a single card. Although it had been a while since Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's right on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. Benji, do you really gotta play with that right now? So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yadagarasu? Yadagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yadagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Yeah, that took a while to come out. So what incidents are you talking about that occurred 2 days ago? Maybe we'll find out next time when we take on the next case in the game, Turnabout Airlines. So, yeah, I guess that's what we're going to do next time, guys. So, as usual, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for Let's Play Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. I'll see you guys later.